maybe, potentially.
Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
This is episode 157. It is Tuesday night, and I am joined live by the one and only Brandon, aka Bass. Brandon, how you doing today?
We're good. We're good. I'm definitely a little tired. Just telling you, Knicks and 6 was always the play. I don't care how the refs went. I wasn't expecting the Knicks to win. I'm just very upset at everything that went down. And I was caught in a couple of crowds in the city. That was not fun. But yeah, like you were saying, there was a lot going on last night after, and I'm honestly not pleased with Knicks fans and like New Yorkers in general. That's not like that's not what's supposed to happen about a game. Like people should not be getting beaten up. Their $100 jerseys ripped off of them. Like imagine now. Obviously, there's going to be a game 5, and what's going to happen to all these Knicks fans now? The Spurs fans might literally just start throwing hands, especially if the Knicks win. So I am afraid for Knicks fans at game 5. And
Oh, good. You know what? Good. The Knicks fans deserve it. Maybe it'll be a wake up call. You don't mess with Texans, man.
yeah,
You do not mess with the Texans down there.
the bad thing is the ones that are going down there, like have a lot of money, and I'm not going to say that like the people that have a lot of money aren't the Knicks fans
Troublemakers.
that are they're not the ones that are like on the street that are doing the things that they're doing. Like that's just not cool. Like I don't know. I've been a Steelers fan and gone to multiple Jets games. Giants. I don't think I've actually seen Giants versus Steelers. I've seen way more Jets versus Steelers. But like the Steelers win because the Jets are terrible. I've like never really been too afraid after. Like I don't expect to get beaten up because the Steelers won. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, the Knicks. I mean, the bright side for the Knicks fans. Listen, the Knicks won 14 games in a row. This is just a little bump in the road,
Yeah.
possibly, but we can't forget the fact that San Antonio is a 64 win team, 10 wins better than the New York Knicks this year. This series, each game has been neck and neck. We're about to get to game 4 tomorrow, and a home team has not won a game yet. It's been the road team this whole entire time.
True.
San Antonio has the chance to tie it up tomorrow and come back from 2-0 after dropping 2 home games to go to Madison Square Garden and win one and possibly win another. And then you get back home at game 5. Like this series has definitely taken a chance. And you got the Knicks. Everybody's blaming the refs. Everybody's blaming that the Wemby should have been given a flagrant. They're blaming this. They're blaming that. But the Knicks turned the ball over a bunch of times in the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
San Antonio went up almost 15 points in the first quarter. And down the stretch, when this game was just about neck and neck, you had Shamet. You had other role players who could not shoot into the ocean if they wanted to. So the Knicks, despite the amount of foul calls that San Antonio got, did it to themselves by not putting the ball through the hoop when they needed to.
I couldn't agree more. However,
There was some bad calls. There was foul the whole entire night. I was getting sick of it.
the fact that it's 20, and I can't forget the stat now. It's 24 free
24
throws to
foul
8 free
shots.
throws.
Yeah.
That's that is an insane number, especially when you see later on how physical the Spurs play. How are there not more fouls getting called is beyond me. And then just the offense that they were putting out there that's been winning games, nothing was. Mikal Bridges has been awful. I can't even speak on him. So now he just decides, I'm not going to shoot anything, and I'm going to let other guys try to take over. And Brunson looks like he's out there by himself sometimes. So it's just
Yeah,
it's
listen. San Antonio's
gets bad now.
defense showed up last night.
Yeah.
They
Oh, the
showed up.
defense, the Knicks defense looks terrible. There's always somebody open for three. I understand pressing and but that's how teams go on a run. So
It was
yeah,
definitely a
the
winnable
defense
game
was
for the
bad.
Knicks for sure, but San Antonio, that game two, when Wemby decided to make a bonehead play and pass the ball with his teammate with his back turned and causing that turnover, that was also a winnable game for San Antonio.
Hmm.
So this series could easily be 2-1 San Antonio, or it could still be 2-1 Knicks, but flip game two and game three around. But either way, it's been a good series. I'm definitely happy that the games are competitive. Both teams are playing with high energy for sure. It's definitely living up to expectations. Tomorrow's a big game. This series will be 100% turned around 180 if for some reason San Antonio should win tomorrow. You know they're coming to play.
I think that there'll be a lot that's getting changed, talked about in the locker room. And I think that there's guys that are going to have to start taking shots, moving more, getting open, getting quality minutes. There's things that needs to happen.
Yeah,
But
and keep in mind, just like the Knicks have to adjust, San Antonio's also adjusting too as well. So I expect nothing but a chess match here. Hey, listen, if Knicks win tomorrow, it still goes back to San Antonio up 3-1, and then San Antonio could have a chance to make it 3-2 going back to the Garden. Um, it would still be Knicks win tomorrow. Basically, the Knicks, it takes a little bit of pressure off of them where now they have three consecutive turns to clinch a championship. But if they
true.
go 2-2, going back to San Antonio, that is not what you want as a Knicks fan. So we'll have to. It's going to be very interesting to see tomorrow night.
Very true.
But anyhow, um,
And
and to your point, the fans destroyed New York City, Bryant Park. People jumping on police cars, people beating other people down if they wore a San Antonio jersey, and yeah,
I,
it's just crazy in New York City right now, no man's land.
there's a van driving the wrong way, or not really the wrong way, but they closed down the street. So I don't know how a van got in there and started driving. But yeah, people started hitting the side of it. Then five cops ran up to it and stopped the guy. It was crazy. It was yeah, it was a wild night.
That is
Uh,
wild. I'm glad I'm out of there. But hey, listen, we had a good weekend of sports.
mhm.
Monday Night Raw is in the books, and due to the fact that I wanted to watch the Nick game last night, Raw was on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. I didn't finish it until about maybe not almost 10 minutes before 10. You literally just finished it, right at the just right before the beginning of this show. So it's definitely fresh in your mind. I feel like we had a good wrestled show. We got good wrestling matches. Again, we're kind of a little short on the star power with Roman Reigns not there, and not to mention CM Punk not there. Their absence is definitely noticeable for this show. However, the Raw show in Paris yesterday, again, we got some progression, more meaningful matches. We had two great intercontinental matches that we'll talk about. We had Oba Femi and LA Knight with very good segments, which we'll also talk about as well. The Chad Gable apology tour, we have that going on. So we're gonna jump right into it, but the King of the Ring tournament continues, and I think this is kind of like the main premise of the show. A lot of King of the Ring storyline weaving in and out of this show, so it's kind of hard to like really, unless I go in order from start to finish. It's kind of hard to really decide on where I want to begin. But we'll talk about the King of the Ring tournament updates. Let's start with let's start with the promo. Obafemi opens up Raw because he is a big part of the storyline of the King of the Ring. And for what we know of now, is the favorite compared to who's still alive in this King of the Ring tournament. So the fans were very hot for Oba. Loved Oba's entrance. Loved the interaction that we got with the fans. We see Oba Femi. He comes out on Raw. Last night, and he says him and Paul Heyman both believe in spoilers, and that he is in his spoilers basically that he's gonna run through every single man in the tournament, and that he will destroy whomever he sees in the finals, and he will also take his rightful place as the king of the ring, and that is not his prediction, and that is his spoiler. Um, he says one trophy that he also wants is the head of Brock Lesnar, and he has been also goes on to say that Brock Lesnar has been very underhanded lately. Sneak attacking him, getting early jump on him in the match, and during his ring entrance, attacking him from behind. He reminds Brock Lesnar that he knows that the score is 1-1, and that when he sees Brock, he's going to settle the score. Um, and that he also called Brock Lesnar one big bad. Yeah. Anyway, before we go into that, what did you think of this first part of Oba Femi's promo that he delivered about his King of the Ring spoiler and Brock Lesnar? Oh, can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted. The lovely bike drivers love to go by, so figured I'd give you a chance. Uh, I love him saying, "What is a ruler without a crown?" So it's true. A ruler needs his crown. Make it happen. Um, yeah, those really all that stuck out. I figured he was gonna say that he wants to be the king now that he's the one guy representing Raw with more matches to come.
Then we get the Dominic Mysterio comes out. He says, "Oh, but you don't rule anybody. You should be more worried about Dirty Dom." And he calls Oba Femi a rookie. You barely have been here, and yet you haven't even been here longer than a cup of coffee. And Dominic goes on to say that he's a 20-year veteran. He's counting the time that he first appeared on TV when he was a little kid,
I
and
mean,
during the feud of Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero during
I
the
mean,
Dominic on the pole feud.
he was a playable character in a couple of WWE games early on, so I think he's right on saying that. It's down to the blonde hair, man. He's been around for 20 years. Continue though.
he he goes on to say he's the king of luchadors, and that once he's king of the ring, he says he's gonna rule over Oba Femi. He asks Oba Femi to bend his knee now and respect the stash.
Respect the stash.
I was loving this because like when Oba Femi gets in that ring with Dominic, it's over. But and then JD he comes from behind Oba and hits Oba Femi with the chair. Oba Femi's not even phased by it. Um, he's like, "What was that? That hit my back." not even phased by it. Then he gets rid of JD, and then but Dominic hits 619 on Oba, but Oba momentarily later catches Dominic and throws Dominic across the ring. And then JD with the save, and then Oba says to Dominic that he messed up tonight. And we all know Ray's your father, he says, but next week I will introduce you to your daddy.
And then
What did
puts
you think of all this?
that was awesome. I figured JD was gonna come around, and we will talk about the Queen of the Ring tournament. And no spoilers, even though everybody watching already knows what happens. So I feel like obviously there's going to be a lot of Judgment Day inclusion in this Oba versus Dom match. So expected to go a little long, and yeah, I think Dom will actually kind of try to hold the match a little bit longer. JD will come out. We'll probably see Liv or Raquel or somebody do something. But yeah, that's that's to be expected. That's usually how WWE likes to story tell these things. But we will absolutely see. I still think Oba somehow comes out on top. I'm not certain how, but I feel like it's probably best to do Oba in this situation and then
Mm.
have him lose to. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I have the updated bracket, so we'll swing back to that in a little bit.
I
But
like it.
Obafemi, I can't see Obafemi not being in the finals of the King of the Ring at the minimum. But let's talk about the King of the Ring matches itself. We'll talk about the guys first. But before we do that, there was just a lot of King of the Ring references throughout the whole night, pretty
Hmm.
much. So, like I said, it's kind of really hard to find a really good starting point to all this conversation tonight, unless I went from beginning to end, which can also be a little sloppy. So, bear with us, guys. We'll do our best. But let's set the stage for the men's King of the Ring match that took place. So Seth Rollins has a bone to pick with the Vision, and then he's also got stuff going on with the King of the Ring tournament too. There's just a lot going on, right? Seth had a run in early in the night with the Usos. So we'll get to that right now. So um, Seth is backstage with Jackie Redmond. He says the Vision is in his past. That's what we thought. And the present is in the King of the Ring tournament, which he says he will win and take back the title that he never lost. So right then and there, we're getting a hint. We could be seeing Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And he goes on to say, which means he has a date somewhere down the line with Roman Reigns, a man he used to call a brother, a man who can't seem to win his title on his own, can't seem to beat Seth Rollins when it matters most, and says he's holding on to a title that doesn't even belong to him, a title that he made. And which is true. Seth Rollins was the inaugural title holder for this belt, and this title was basically made for the Raw brand because Roman Reigns never defended the undisputed title when he was champion for 3-4 years. You never saw him around. So basically, Roman Reigns has been, prior to 2024, is carrying both belts, and there was no champion for Raw because Roman Reigns would be on SmackDown whenever he felt like it, and he would never defend. So that's how the inception started with the world title belt. Um, but so then we later on we get Seth Rollins again. Seth Rollins kind of interweaved throughout the show a couple times. We see the Usos then approach Seth and Montez Ford in the locker room when Seth and Montez were talking. We see Usos, and then Jacob is there with the Usos. Jey Uso says, "Be careful about talking about the family," and Jay says that he's gonna win it all, and also he says that Jim is on his Jim is Seth Rollins said that Jim is on the sideline where Roman wants him, so that didn't sit well with Jimmy and Jay. And then Jay wants Jacob to get Seth, but Jacob looks at Seth in the eye and then walks away. Um, so, what did you think of this little backstage promo that we got with Seth and Montez and the Usos? Do you think that there's still a chance where Montez could turn on Seth later on?
Um, yes and no. Uh, I just there's so many angles that this whole thing can go in that I have I have no clue what direction they plan on going. So it's a little bit tough for me to see that one. I don't know. I see like Montez more. Where does Angelo Dawkins fit into all this? That's where I'm a little confused because where's he been at?
He was kind of sort of lightly written off TV by Braun Breaker when Braun Breaker speared Dawkins.
Okay,
So this has been Dawkins has been out for like 2-3 weeks now.
yeah. Then Montez Ford just randomly showing up. It's like, all right. I thought you didn't like Seth, but
It's been like written on TV the past couple weeks that Montez Ford has been gradually taking to Seth Rollins even more and more. So right now their friendship is kind of like solidifying in a way, or so we think.
yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't get it. Now, I mean, I guess as we'll talk more, but with the vision, still lingering in the background, even with a hurt Logan Paul, we now will see some other groupings start to come out of the woodworks. So I guess, yeah, he said, maybe if I can't get the real belt, I'll get the tag belts.
So basically, this sets the stage for the and they might go that route maybe. But this basically sets the stage for the main event tonight, the men's King of the Ring match, where Seth Rollins versus Javon Evans versus Talatanga versus uh, Ricky Saints. This was a really good match
Hmm.
for the four way. What did you think of this match?
This was honestly one of those matches where you could see any four of these guys going forward now. Like, Ricky Saints really proved why he belongs on the main roster, which is very cool to me. Tala, same thing. Like, he figured out he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. Sorry, had to do that reference. I hope that they bring them back too. Speaking of, I don't think we've talked about that yet. Um,
No, not yet. I don't know if it's like even big news or like I heard they're gonna go to NXT and probably not even be on the main roster. Big Cass has got potential, and so
yeah, fair. I don't know. I digress. I
he's a
just
good
saw that.
mouthpiece.
But
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 so
yes,
get him.
Tala realized that he's 7 foot and can hang with the best of them. So started wrestling.
Tonga looked very good last night.
Yes,
He looked very strong. I felt like that was like a somewhat of a coming out party for him.
I hope so because obviously he's had the shadow cast of him by Solo. Did I say that right? Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Um, so I guess we will see now, even with a loss, if he can be projected more to being screw it, I gotta say it, just to being an kicker. Like
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
He, he
So
he looked very good. He looked strong. He didn't even take the pin last night, so like he wasn't harmed in any way.
yep,
Um, I
and Ricky looked
love
quick. Like, I'll give it to him. Ricky looked quick in the ring. Like,
he
I really
looked
haven't seen him wrestle
really
much.
good. I love the HBK Diesel spot with Ricky Saints and Tonga.
That was great.
With that high five and then Tonga taking out Ricky. I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. Um, that was probably Triple H's idea.
Hmm.
Then we had a really good exchange for a bit with Seth Rollins and Ricky Saints after Tonga and Javon were knocked outside of the ring. Um, so that was good. Ricky, each of these guys really had great moments to shine in this match. Ricky Saints had a really nice DDT on Javon. Um, we saw Seth with a curb stomp on Tonga from the top guardrail, which was a pretty cool visual. Um, and then we see again uh, the problems with Seth Rollins and the Vision continues. Is that Austin Theory comes out and pulls the ref out of the ring, which could have very well been the pinfall win for Seth Rollins, costed him the win. Montez Ford comes to the save of Seth Rollins. And then Braun Breaker comes in and spears Seth. So Seth is now knocked out. And the funny thing was, Ricky is like, he got all excited. You see, like, that maniacal look on his face, his
Hmm.
smile. And he was about to go pin Seth Rollins when all of a sudden, Javon comes out of nowhere, puts the OG cutter on Ricky Saints, and Javon gets the win.
Put
So,
the
what did
put
you
the
think of this whole interaction? How did you feel about the end of the match? Do you feel like the right guy won?
he sorry, I was saying he put the Dikembe Mutombo on him with the no 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 not today. Hit him
Basically,
hit him with the OG. No, that was great. The Revolution DDT that Ricky hit like 3 different times. That move is awesome.
these
It's
guys really worked well together last night.
Yeah, that was the crazy part too. Is they obviously haven't wrestled much other than probably all of those guys might have been at NXT at the same time, other than Seth, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ricky, Javon, and Tala were all in NXT at around the same time.
Here is that's the women. We'll get to that in a minute.
Spoilers, I'm just playing.
Here is the updated brackets for the men. On the left hand side, we got Femi versus Mysterio. On the right hand side, we got Evans, and the winner, if I can make this out correctly, um, we're gonna have Jey Uso against LA Knight versus Royce Keys and Finn Balor.
Hmm.
So, who do you think, looking at the right hand side of the bracket, is going to be Evans' opponent? Who do you see him going against? I mean, I guess it's looking like Jey Uso might advance, because they're kind of telling that story with Jay, how he wants to challenge Cody. And then we didn't even get to LA Knight yet. We'll talk about him. But we got LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Balor. Like, who do you think is going to be Evans' opponent here on that side of the bracket?
Um, I'd say probably Finn Balor. If you're gonna have a whole night of champions and only have it be Raw, that's a little crazy.
Mm,
So I feel like you need to have at least a little bit of SmackDown representation. Finn Balor went from Raw to SmackDown, so at least kind of give him a push in that direction. If you're gonna put him on a new brand, make him a
yeah.
winner over there.
Uh
So
huh.
my initial thought's gonna be Finn because I think also Finn and Evans have probably versed each other, and whoever comes out of that would be fine. If you do need to do Finn versus Dom for Night of Champion for King of the Ring, like that would be awesome. Run that
Yeah,
back,
but
screw
then
it.
you're probably gonna have somebody like Brock Lesnar come in and attack Obafemi again, probably.
I would see that if Oba makes it to the finals.
Well, so here's the thing, because if you're gonna have Finn Balor go against Evans, Finn Balor wins, goes to the final. Who are you gonna have against Finn Balor?
Oh no,
If
I'd put Dom in there and have it be a rematch.
so, yeah. So if you have Dom and Finn Balor, then what's gonna have to happen is Brock Lesnar's gonna have to screw up Obafemi's match next Monday night.
No, you still have JD around.
Yeah, I don't know if JD or anybody in Judgment Day is enough to really cost Oba the match. And with the fact that JD, I'm sorry, um, Obafemi has been calling out Brock Lesnar in a way. This Oba versus Brock Lesnar is clearly not done. But the question is this on pause for now, where Obafemi actually does win King of the Ring, and then Brock Lesnar is the first challenger of Obafemi after Oba wins the title, or do they just go the route of Brock Lesnar costing Obafemi next week, setting up, or um, at Night of Champions and setting up Brock versus Oba 3 for SummerSlam.
I like that. I feel like you have. Yeah, I feel like you have it next week,
Yeah,
and
because like
then
if because like against Finn Balor advances. I mean, the opponent that makes the most sense would probably be Dominic Mysterio. If you really think about it, unless they have Jey Uso advance, then it would probably make sense to have Obafemi versus Jey Uso.
yeah, true.
Um, you're more than likely right. We're probably gonna get Jey Uso to fill in that gap in the bottom right hand corner against Evans. Um, and I would probably say you're looking at Oba versus Jey Uso, and then that's where we could start to see Obafemi feuding with the Bloodline. If you really think about it, you can tell the story where the Bloodline tried to prevent Obafemi from winning, um, and but and Oba ends up overcoming, beats Jey Uso, King of the Ring, and then Oba could easily challenge Roman Reigns for the title, and I would just pull the trigger, just have Oba Femi just win a belt, or you could have Oba challenge Cody if you want to do that. But so
Yeah, I can see that. There's a few different.
up to this point, my original prediction is stands correct, where Oba, we predicted before they even announced it, we predicted that there was going to be King of the Ring. We predicted that Obafemi right here would be the one to win King of the Ring to take on Roman Reigns. So far that prediction stands true, but my concern is that the Brock Lesnar storyline could be a little bit of a hindrance.
Yeah, because who else is Brock gonna face? There's nothing else for him to do, so that makes sense.
I mean, he could face Gunther if they want to do that story.
Yeah,
Doesn't necessarily have to be for title, but Gunther's kind of tangoing with Cody Rhodes right now, and Gunther gets his rematch at Night of Champions against Cody. So yeah, so you're absolutely right. Like who Brock Lesnar is gonna go against, or maybe they just don't do a match for Brock Lesnar, and he comes out right at the end of SummerSlam to confront Oba Femi to challenge him for Oba Femi's newly won title when he beats Roman Reigns. Or Cody, depending on where they want to go. There's been rumors that the main plan for WrestleMania 43 is Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And in the event that they can't get The Rock, that Obafemi is the backup plan to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
oh wow.
Are they kidding me?
Yeah, I couldn't see that.
Are they kidding me? They gotta get they gotta get a belt on Obafemi as soon as possible. I like honestly at this point, Obafemi should not even be a plan B for that WrestleMania 43. If they're gonna kind of drag it out a little bit more, Oba should not. The Rock needs to stay out of the way. I think The Rock needs to stay out of the way. To be honest with you,
Oh yeah,
I think Obafemi versus Roman Reigns is blockbuster enough. So, and I think we get Oba versus. I'm still sticking to it. I think we're getting Oba versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania at SummerSlam this year. But like I said, the hindrance to that would be Brock Lesnar, depending on when they want to line that up for their third match. So, um, yeah. Moving on, we had the women's um, King of the Ring tournament, which was one of the first matches of the night, right? It was like the first match of the night, I think.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the first hour of Raw, and again, this was another good match. I like all the matches were really good on Raw tonight. Like I said, it wasn't like the most eventful Raw, you know,
Mhm.
but it was all good matches. Um, Becky Lynch versus Chelsea Green versus Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan. It makes no sense that there's a world champion or a title holder in these tournaments. These spots could easily be filled by somebody else. You know, Liv Morgan needs to be defending her title, not trying to fight for another title.
Fair. I
Um,
mean, Roman did it.
again, great match. Great match that we got with the ladies tonight, or should I say last night? Because we both finished it tonight. But
That is true.
this is our updated bracket because Liv Morgan gets the win. She had a great showing. Chelsea Green had a good night, but Liv pins Chelsea Green for the win. Non-stop, fast-paced match that we got. It was very, very entertaining. We got Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv Morgan is one more spot to be filled. Let's see here what we got. We got Sol Ruca on the bottom left against Valkyria, um, against Charlotte, and against Jade Cargill. So I'm looking at the bottom bracket, and I have a feeling it might be Charlotte that wins there, and then we get a match with Liv Morgan. I think that'd be pretty cool to see.
That
On
makes
the
sense.
other side, we got Io versus Raquel. So now you got one Judgment Day on opposite sides of the semifinals.
Well,
Are you seeing what I'm dropping down here?
well, if you're also seeing what I'm about to drop down here, did you see the interaction right before the men's fatal four way match?
Yes, with Roxanne.
Yeah, so she said that she wants it to be Liv versus Raquel, and before Liv could answer to that, Dom walks back in, and Liv goes, "Dom, oh my God, what happened?" So
Convenient timing.
convenient timing. And Dom says, "Oh, we had a plan, but I guess now I'm gonna have to take down Oba with another plan." So we'll see what that plan was. But Roxanne stayed back, and we didn't get anything from that. So I guess we'll see what happens. I feel like we'll probably get her to interact in the EO versus Rodriguez match. And yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I like the Charlotte Flair pick. That definitely would make sense for me. And again, like I said, I feel like we're gonna get SmackDown people. So while again my pick will be Balor for the men's, I do like Charlotte for the women's with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we need SmackDown representation.
No, no, absolutely for sure. The way I'm seeing it now, I mean, they're definitely teasing Liv Morgan versus Raquel for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I can see Liv Morgan going for the finals, and they might even turn around and have Liv Morgan win this whole thing, and then Liv Morgan challenge Rhea Ripley, so Liv Morgan can be on her quest to take all the titles. She hasn't even defended her title once since WrestleMania yet.
I thought that I was gonna ask that. So I mean, hmm.
But they're
Yeah, I
definitely
don't know.
teasing dissension here with Judgment Day for sure.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, something's gonna give. We very well could get Raquel versus Liv Morgan, and Raquel maybe Liv Morgan gets screwed over here, and then we finally get a feud with Liv Morgan versus one of the Judgment Day girls. I mean, Liv Morgan's got to get a program with somebody.
So my initial thought is you get Flair versus Liv Morgan. Um, the Io versus Raquel match happens first. Roxanne helps Raquel win, and then she tries to help Liv win, and Charlotte ends up like winning because of the distraction, or
Mm,
like something like that. So that there's already dissension there, and then we get Charlotte versus Raquel.
and you think um,
Raquel wins.
Raquel wins? Interesting. And then Raquel versus Liv Morgan, SummerSlam.
We could get like that's the thing. We could have that, or we get Raquel versus Rhea, and she can like jump ship, or like put the brakes on that. Like that's where we can get that whole type of who she wants to. Does she decide who she gets to fight, or it has to be her brand?
I think they. I mean, I think they get to decide who they fight, but it could be their brand too as well.
Well, oh no,
Hence the
no,
reason why they got the
wait.
red and blues.
No, I'll give you one better. It isn't that because Jay is fighting, and he said that he would take on Cody.
Cody, yes, yes, you're right.
So yes, they do decide who they want to take on.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening where like for a couple of weeks you go, oh Raquel's gonna take on Liv. Oh, she's gonna do it. Nah, I'm gonna take on Rhea. Screw it. I'm gonna bring the belt back to Judgment Day, and then something happens before, after, during SummerSlam, and that's when we get the fall of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
That's my
I
initial.
feel like we're in the middle of a slow burn with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be my like initial far thinking,
Triple
and by
H loves to
August.
slow burn everything.
Oh yeah.
He
Well,
loves to
they
slow
have to
burn everything.
because they don't have enough wrestlers to be able to like constantly switch up feuds that are going on.
Yeah.
So you can really only do feuds every like couple of months. So yeah, it's tough. You only get to see about 7 to 10 different matches against different people.
All right, so basically we covered the King of the Ring for the most part, and I'm sure anything we talk about later is always gonna somehow swing back to the King of the Ring. But we had the Intercontinental title matches for both the men and the women, starting with the women. Sol Ruca defending her Intercontinental title against Lyra Valkyria. Very good match here. I think they both did very well. Lyra, in my opinion, is one of the best women's wrestlers that WWE has. They just kind of, need to, she just needs momentum, really. But we see Lyra is caught in the ropes, and then Soul hits a beautiful Soul Snatcher. Um, but very good title defense, very good wrestle match by both of them. What did you think of this match before we talk about the other one?
Another good one. I feel like a lot of these matches have just kind of been, you know, matches to get the show going, the people going. Yeah, but both of them, I this is where I will say, Soul is yet to have a bad match. Every match makes it look like it's the toughest match for her, which is, I mean, that's saying something about her competitors as well as her. Like, I mean, I would say Dolph Ziggler is probably the best seller I've ever watched in my life. Not saying that Sol Ruka sells well, just saying that she's, I don't know, I guess she's elevating the person she's against, which is like crazy to say for a rookie. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to say it like that. Like, I think I'm right on it.
Yeah, she she's having good matches. You can tell she's still a little green in a lot in certain ways. She reminds me of a like a 2006 version of Ashley Massaro, the late Ashley Massaro.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a good.
just
I
because
see
like
that.
the way they dress, the way they move around, and I wouldn't be surprised if like some of that inspiration of like the way that she dresses and her look is kind of like if it's a nod to Ashley in a way. But yeah, um, she hasn't really had
R.I.P.
a
Long
good
Island.
match.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Before we talk about the men's King of the Ring match, just before that match, we got the segment. Chad Gable. Chad Gable's apparently on an apology tour the last couple weeks. Apologizing to the Luchadors. I believe he's already apologized to Dragon Lee, Penta, and he apologized to Rey. Chad Gable's backstage with Rey Mysterio. Rey says that after watching his Mask versus Mask, Rey Mysterio told Chad Gable that was true lucha libre, and he says that he felt that, and I accept your apology. Um, but he asks Chad Gable to look a little bit further, back way before you put on your mask of the El Grande Americano, and to think on what you've done in the past. And I wasn't really too sure what Ray was getting at with that, but moving forward, we had Penta versus Rey Mysterio Jr. and we had a really good match here. Um, I liked. I don't know if you saw, but Penta had some really interesting pyro in the ring where he had that like little spinning thing with the fireworks. And I honestly never really noticed it before, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, I saw that
Um,
like last month. I thought that was really cool.
yeah. So Penta defends against Rey Mysterio. Before we get back into the Chad Gable thing, we'll just run down this match. Um, Ray nearly wins with a 619 and a frog splash. It was a great back and forth match. The action was nonstop. Fans were eating it up. Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer on Ray for the win. I mean, this was a sick match.
Yeah.
Um, Penta and Rey Mysterio have a show of respect. But then we get Ethan Page and Rusev attack Rey Mysterio and Penta. And then Dragon Lee tries to come out for the save. Rusev ripped the mask off of Rey Mysterio.
Wild.
That was crazy. And but Dragon Lee comes out. And then we see Gable come out, and then Gable finally cleaned house. Um, got Rusev out of the ring. Got Ethan Page out of the ring. Um, and then we see Rusev and Page, they retreat. Gable picks up the mask that Rusev had ripped off of Ray's head and hands it back to Rey Mysterio. Um, so I guess that was like an apology of sort, in the form of an action. So it looks like again great match with Rey Mysterio and Penta, but the big story here was the build and the end of this match with Chad Gable. It looks like they are doing something with Chad Gable here. What do you think? Because he looked good. He looked. They made him look really good last night.
Yeah, I think it's time for him to get a push. I think that's definitely the move here.
He's 40 years old.
Huh.
He's 40 years old. I think it's his time. If he can still work, I mean, I think it's Chad Gable's time to, let's get some momentum behind him now. And you want to know what does that? Wins.
Wins. That is true. Or at least helping people after they lose. So I guess that works.
So to be continued with Chad Gable to see where they're going to go with him. Penta defeats Ray, retains the Intercontinental title. Sol Ruca defeats Lyra. She retains her Intercontinental title. So good pair. We had a good pair of IC title matches. We had a good pair of King of the Ring tournament matches. Um, We already talked about Seth Rollins. Let's hit on one more topic, and then we're good for the night here. But for those of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. That'll help us out. Share this with your friends, family. We are getting close to Night of Champions. We are just wow. We're still about 3 weeks away. So there's a lot of time and a lot of filler for WWE to give us. Before then. So anyway, make sure you guys stay tuned. We are gonna hit on the LA Knight promo. So swinging back to the Usos. So
Yeah.
not only was Seth Rollins involved in kind of two different storylines here, Usos are basically involved in two different storylines because now you have LA Knight, who's going to be in the Men's King of the Ring tournament match on for that to fill that last semi-final spot against Finn Balor, Jey Uso, and um, who else was that down there? I can't even see.
What was it?
Um, anyway, so you have LA Knight against Jey Uso. And Royce Keys. Okay,
Royce Keys, Finn Balor, yes.
yeah. So you have LA Knight in his promo, which was a really good promo. Um, he says, "In this neighborhood, I'm the chief," and you see, he says the bloodline probably going to get involved to make sure that Roman stays on top, especially if LA Knight wins the King of the Ring. LA Knight calls out Adam Pearce. He was no, I didn't really, I didn't recall seeing Adam Pearce on the show yesterday, but he brings Adam Pearce's name into it and feels that Adam Pearce has his favorites that, he feels that Adam Pearce is favoriting the bloodline, and that LA Knight goes on to say that he may be unchosen, but you guys, the fans, have chosen me, and I've chosen myself, and I will do it my way. And says that he doesn't know how to quit, and then he says he can't stop being LA Knight. So he wishes Jey Uso luck that he will. He wishes Jey Uso luck, but the luck that like he wants Jey Uso basically to do on his own, you know. And then out comes Jey Uso. He comes out to give LA Knight a warning shot, putting LA Knight on notice that he's going to show LA that he's going to get it done. Um, you see LA Knight basically in Jey Uso's face, and then Jey Uso gets out of the ring, and then basically LA Knight says, "Screw your family."
Yep.
So I thought that was a pretty cool line there. LA Knight delivered a really good promo here. Um, I'm not too sure if it's possible that we even get like LA Knight advancing. Um, Again, like each superstar, like Jey Uso, LA Knight, like on that part of the bracket, they've all made strong bids and given us good reasons why that they're going to advance to King of the Ring, what they're going to do. So it's like, who do I believe here? Like, who's going to come out of this? But again, LA Knight did a really good promo. You see Usos feuding with LA Knight, feuding with Seth Rollins, and then Seth Rollins busy with the Vision, and then busy with the Bloodline. There's a lot going on here.
Mhm.
What did you think of this before we close out?
Oh, I'm just as confused. I mean, you know me, I'm an LA Knight guy. Like, I'm definitely a fan of his, and I think that he deserves a push. So, what better way than giving this man the crown? Uh, so yeah, I hope that they do have him, take a shot at Roman, and I hope that he is able to take down anybody in his path. Do I think it's gonna happen? No. Do I hope it happens? Yes. But yeah, no, he's good on the mic. We already know that, and I wish that France would have said for the LA night instead of saying yeah. I wish they would have said we. That would have been great.
Oh man.
Or if they should have made like shirts for France and it should have said like LA night we. But
So
I digress.
all in all, there was a little bit of an advancement. We filled a couple King of the Ring spots. But
Hmm.
other than that, nothing major really happened on Raw. We're seeing a continuation of Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, so that's probably gonna happen at Night of Champions, or maybe Saturday Night's main event, because you really can't forget about that. Um, but other than that, it wasn't really like, I wouldn't say, it was a good wrestled show, but it wasn't really all that eventful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
But this is probably one of those shows that we could have like, we'll take the night off and see how Raw does next week, and then we'll talk about it. To be really honest, that's how I grade this Monday night Raw that we had. But anyway, we're on the road to Night of Champions, and we know it's going to be a good show. The intrigue is still there to see how far Obafemi really goes. Who's going to fill up that next bracket? I think whoever fills up that next bracket on Friday night, that final spot to go into semifinals, could be very a little bit more telling as to where they might go with the King of the Ring winner this year. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll just have to see what they're gonna do. Big story is Oba gonna win King of the Ring, or is Brock Lesnar gonna come out and prevent that from happening so they can set up a third match sooner than later, or does they let Oba go to the championship, which I think they should do, have Oba win, and then Brock challenge Oba after that. So that's kind of uh, one of the big stories here, and something to keep an eye on is if somehow Jey Uso wins and maybe challenges Cody. They could tell that story. They've been hinting at a bunch of things. I just don't know what they're gonna choose, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
it's tough to put together like you said all the options because
but
then you can have a feud or two.
yeah, all in all, a good wrestled show. Like there was good wrestling on the show. Like I can't complain about the wrestling. We had good promos. Just some slight story progression, but nothing too crazy. Not the most eventful Raw, but a very good wrestled show. And we did lack a little star power there. Very obvious when Roman's not there, or CM Punk. Rumors flying around that CM Punk, they didn't have a story for him. They don't know what to do with him right now, which is complete nonsense. It was already reported before WrestleMania that CM Punk was going to possibly go on a little vacation. So he's on vacation now. Probably be back in time for SummerSlam, if we have to guess. So
Yeah, it's damn. I always love your read, so it's like I don't know what else to like go against it. It's like no, you're there. You're Radar Rivera. Everything's on your radar. You got it read right. Hey, thank you. You didn't show it all show, so I had to give you one chance to get it right as we're about to hit the hour mark and get out of here. I love it. But
those, I'm so done. It is 11:30. Just past 11:30 Eastern time
oh god.
on the East Coast of New York. Oh man, no, you broke me. You broke me. Or I broke myself. Whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Whoever
I
made
broke
that,
character.
it's all right. It's all good.
Oh, by the way, make sure you go see He-Man. Great movie, by the way.
Really? Okay. See, I never watched. It was a show or a movie back in the
So
day.
it was a cartoon. Think of
Okay.
like He-Man as being like a Conan the Barbarian type of character, and it was a cartoon. And basically, He-Man grew up and defending Eternia, and then Skeletor is trying to take over. I'm pretty familiar with the storyline. It's just that like I was so young myself when this show came out. So it's based off of the '80s cartoon that came out, and it was from like in the mid '80s. So I was somewhere between the age of 5 and 7 when He-Man was big, and man, had I kept that original He-Man that I owned in the packaging all these years, it would have been worth like at least $2,000 for sure. But
Wow.
anyway, yeah, the He-Man action figures are worth money, and are gonna be, even the new ones, the current ones, gonna be worth more money. The ones that are out now, but that'll be a little time. Anyhow, go see He-Man. Great movie. I absolutely loved it. And check out the cartoon on Amazon. Very very enjoyable. I love the cartoon.
Should I
But
watch the 1987 movie with Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox?
I would say watch the original cartoons, because I heard the original movie of He-Man was not that great. But like this guy that played like this time around He-Man, the Skeletor was more true to the original cartoon character, and He-Man was really like everyone was like, the cast was so well done for this movie. But like I don't even know if I have any desire to see the last one that came out, that like the first original He-Man movie. But maybe if I'm bored,
Oh, Jared Leto is in it. Cool.
yeah.
Thanks. Exciting. All right, I'll go
A
check it out.
lot of good movies coming out this year, especially like the Avengers and all that stuff. So cannot wait. But for those of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We will be back next week. The week after that, we should be covering AEW. We will also be back this week, Friday. Be on the lookout for our top five. We are going to cover the top five King of the Ring winners of WWE, since we are in the season of King of the Ring. We're covering the top five King of the Ring winners, so be on the lookout for that list that's going to come out on Friday. But Brandon, thank you as always for hopping on tonight and pushing us through another episode and another week in the books. And those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much, and you guys all have a wonderful night.
Go Knicks.
Agility from the champion. Uh-oh! Oh, G6! That could be it. Delivered this